Hello, this is Enrique Garcia, and this is my milestone 1 for level design. I'm doing this in Divinity Origins in 2, and I'm creating a campaign. And this campaign starts off with a vignette. I give a little bit of description of what's going on in this big piece of land here. As you can see, there's a lot of uh, places that I kind of want to create. Um, as of what I have so far right now is just this far left side right here. All of this is pretty much empty. This is just a little bit of a layout of what I want. So like I said, this campaign starts off with a vignette, and it's so the point of this, the D&D sort of campaign in Divinity Origin Sin, is one person is the game master and the other people are just the players. So the game master can go in and edit almost anything I put on to their liking. So this vignette gives a little bit um, of a story to this whole game. It's saying that it's someone's birthday, and then the game master can put in anyone's birthday, like Joe. It's Joe's 21st birthday, and then the players can see that, and then the player can choose party or party and go really hard, But this is just for like uh, jokes and getting the players familiar with vignettes. I use it later on. Here I have a little bit more of a serious one where there's a rustling in the bushes in the forest, and you can choose which one you want to do, and the game master can decide which outcome happens. So yeah, since this starts off with that the vignette, you can go into your the folders here. I have it very organized on how I want things played out. Um, so it started in Laxdale, as the vignette says. And we have the players start off celebrating one of their party members' birthday. And it starts off on top of a tavern, very slow like. So I have the players start off here. That's what this green thing is. I have pie here, I have NPCs around. They're just doing their own thing. And I set a lot of sticky notes for anyone who's playing as a game master, so that they don't get lost. The players don't see these sticky notes, so it's very helpful for the game master to keep on pace. It gives you a little bit of description, and the game master can read this out loud, or change it up a bit. So yeah, the whole point of this whole level is that this lizard here is a stranger, and while these people are partying, they don't really care that he's a stranger. They just know that a new face is around. And they have also sticky notes that are in private, so that the game master should read alone. And it gives out a little bit of story so that the game master can set it up. In this scene here, I have a man that's going to be appearing, and that's this guy. So you can activate him, and then the game master can play him. And what's going to happen is I'm going to have the game master make this guy run, and then they can kill him off by doing this. And it's going to be, the story is that these guys over here are chasing him, and they're going to start a fight because they're looking for this lizard. So this whole scene is being set up by this, all while keeping the players' guard down by having them celebrate a party. So they can also go inside of the tavern. Unfortunately, there's no way to go into a map without opening that UI. But I mean, it works decently. I have the tavern created. I have another note, and I have the bartenders, I have NPCs, and the game master can give these NPCs more life. But if they didn't want to, I have a little bit of a sort of a guideline for these for these NPCs. I had this elf here doing poetry really badly. That's what it's described on, and a new face playing on the piano at a fast pace, singing Bard's tales. So I want this campaign to feel lighthearted and not super serious. I want it to be funny. I want the players to laugh, and most importantly, I want it to feel believable. But that's all I have for Laxdale. So once the party kills the three skeleton guys outside and talk to the lizard man, the new face. The lizard guy will say something along the lines where there's going to be a war brewing, and some big guy is doing dark magic and trying to take over Disdain, the continent, because of because it's a booming, it's starting to populate more, and they want to take control of that. So the first place the guy tells you to go to is Mount Garako, and so I kind of went overboard with this level thing. I think I may have overscoped, and I'm doing a lot of work for no reason. But I mean, like I said, this is a passion project, and I may not be able to fulfill the amount of hours I did for this first section for the next few, because I put in a lot of work. So yeah, so there's more sticky notes on what's going on, more like sort of side questy stuff, so that the GM can set up the story. And so the thing about Divinity is that it gives you pre-built stuff, and then you have to add stuff to it. So this house, everything here is pre-built except for the fire. I added some death of livestock. I added some smaller things here and there so that the house feels alive. And then you can go inside the house. But I also added some fun little knickknacks for the players to find. So here I have the characters, like they actually have the names and the levels and whatnot. And you can loot this guy if you really wanted to. He has gold. He has a to-do list for his wife's anniversary, and a chest key. And the chest key unlocks something inside the house. I also have a wedding ring with the stuff on the bottom, and it's like I said, it's supposed to be funny. So if the player wears it, they get the bonuses, but they lose physical armor, and then they constantly hear shame. Which is just a little bit funny, because it's pretty bad to wear a dead man's wedding ring. So yeah, so then you can go inside the house, and the house is also on fire, and his wife, the man's wife, is also inside dead, which gives you a little bit more insight on what's happening, which is pretty interesting. It gets the player going. As you see, there's stuff on fire. There's a chest that you can open. It's already open right now. I don't know why it's like that, but it's closed in game. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, so like everything is just burning. And if I were to play this, because it's paused right now, if I were to play this, this chair would explode, or not explode, but like burn away. All this stuff would burn away, which is pretty interesting. And then after you get done with that, the point is to find a map, and then once you find a map, you can go to the hillside. And more loading. And then you get to the hillside, and here I didn't add too much. I only added signposts and more sticky notes, so aggressive condors. And then these condors are fighting over a squirrel, which if you have animal speak, speaking with the condors, read only if players have animal speech. So like this gives a little bit more branching off, so the players don't just do everything at once, or do everything and feel like they should have chose this or that. But yeah, you know, and then these like if you do have animal speech, these condors give you an insight of what's going to happen next. If you don't have it, then you're going into a fight a little bit more unaware of what's going to happen next. And then you get to an encounter, a big one. So these kids right here, they're terrified, and there is a horrific sight of a cannibal eating a man. And if you don't kill this cannibal in 3 turns, she'll let out a shriek, and then the enemies will be alert in the next encounter. So I mean, this is just an open area. This isn't supposed to be traveled a lot, so that's why there's only one wagon and the chest. This guy was a traveler, and these kids were just having fun. And then the next one, a lot more loading. Like I said, I went overboard, and I did a lot of levels on accident. So yeah, more sticky notes. It gives you a little bit of insight on what's happening. There's blood everywhere. There's people here. And like I said, if you didn't attack that guy, or if you didn't beat that guy in 3 turns, these guys would be alert, and that's up to the game master to initiate that. So yeah, these guys are fighting. This guy is knocked out. He's sort of like these guys kept him alive for some reason, and we don't know why. And Gibdo, this guy, his name is Gibdo, and he's supposed to be sort of comedic relief. But yeah, so this is like a real fight, and then this is where the players can get real strategic and how they fight these guys. There's low lighting, so the game master can play with that, and stealth. And then there's people up here, they can play with that. As for this, we get to the end here, and then we have a sort of a boss fight. And this boss fight is a big one, so we have the more details. So we have this guy, he's a cannibal, and then we have a sort of mini boss, and then we have the boss, and then we have his pet, Dot. So like this place is supposed to feel like, oh, this is the end, and this guy's doing something shady. There's also a few chests up here. This one you can only get if you have the teleportation skill, so once again, more if you have the skill, then you can do this. And I'm hoping that that can open a lot of opportunities for the players. And this is just one big fight. But after you beat him, the players should be going this way, away, and going to the end and trying to fight that. But the flow of the map is left to right. But I have the Kogo Forest here, which is a bit of a side questy thing. So like if you wanted to go to the Kogo Forest, you can. And there's a lot of good loot, but there's a lot of strong people. So this is just the starting off of the Kogo Forest. You know, it gives you an description on the Mother Rat side quest. And there's a rat there, really hard to see. And there's a rat being eaten by wolves, and if you save the rat, you know, you get a little bit of small side quest bonus. And that's pretty much what I have for that. Then you can get to go to the Peculiar Pond, which has a more interesting quest to it. So this pond right here, I added a blessing and a smoke to it, so that it looks mystical, and it's making these creatures huge. So these alligators are smaller, this turtle was obviously smaller, but upon going into this pond, and they make them huge, and they're very defensive on it. So if the player wants to get into the pond, they have to fight these big creatures, and they do have spells. You know, this one has teleportation and a rock throw. So these guys are pretty dangerous, right? And then you have Dangle, and then you have Dongle, and they both have story. Dongle, and then Dangle, and you know, just like regular trolls, they want money to for safe passage basically, and you know, this guy's asking for 1,000 and 100 gold, and this guy's asking for 1,000 gold. So like you can outsmart these guys if you know, if the game master allows. But that's they're sort of blocking that place, and you can fight them too, but they're super strong. But if you fight them, you get to a fancy area, a secret place really, and there's just troll droppings everywhere. This is where they do their business. But there is a secret. There's a secret button, and if the players can find it, or there's a secret key. If the players can find it, and that's, you have to search through all this. If you can find the key, then you can just gain access to it. But you can also pay 500 gold to access this secret area, and it's up to the player to choose whether or not they want to, and that would be them losing a lot of gold or them outsmarting the system. And then once they get into it, they go into the hidden trove, and we're doing more loading, my favorite thing. Alright. So now we have the secret trove, and this has a lot of good loot. This place is blocked off, but you know, money, and not as a lot, but and then you have good armor here, really good armor. And then you have, once you do that, it's not super safe because then there's scarecrows here. They're hiding, and then they get ambushed, and then if you kill them, they have good loot on them. So that's pretty cool. And then I created one random encounter for this area, and it's just a random encounter. So the game master can give this player, or the players, this encounter whenever they feel like it. It could be if they're walking too much, or if the game gets a bit boring, they can run into this encounter here. And yeah, so I actually have all this here. It's like target practice. It's a bandit camp, right? And it's really filled up, filled to the brim. These guys are watching, and the whole story I'm trying to tell here is that there's a casket, and these guys are they're just getting back from their adventure, and their friend is dying, and he's right here, and everyone's crowded around him, and it's pretty upsetting. And the players can attack these guys, right? Or they can join up and try to help them. These guys are newcomers, and they really don't care. That's why they're sitting down and not with them. And if the players choose to help them, then they will get attacked by very strong guys who kill these guys immediately. And these guys may or may not help, but it's all about what the game master wants, and this leads to a lot of different things that can happen, and I think that's pretty interesting. It's up to the game master to really work work with what I got, and you know, I think that could work out pretty well. I also have a video on how I made this level here from the base scratch, from the scene that it was plucked from. All this wasn't here, all this wasn't here, all these people, these tents weren't filled up with stuff, and I show you how to do that in a video. It's about 30 minutes long. I don't speed anything up, and it's just my thought processes on it. Thank you for watching.